Right. Thank you all for coming. Today's Eurogroup meeting discussed the latest developments on Greece. We explained to my colleagues why we could not accept the institution's proposal 2 days ago. Briefly, it had to do with three fundamental issues. The first one was that the prior actions recommended were seriously recessionary and redistributive, yet again redistributing burdens from those who could and should bear them to those who neither could nor should. The second reason concerned the financing. The proposal for financing the 5-month extension period of the current agreement, the funding proposal that was on the table by the institutions, was technically inadequate. The numbers simply didn't add up. And when we asked questions about, in particular, the utilization of parts of the HFSF 10.9 billion, which was there in order to recapitalize banks and strengthen them in view of the problem with the NPLs, we received an answer that involved the ASM, and that, as we know, effectively baked into this short-term arrangement a new program. Both technically and legally, that did not make much sense, and I'm sure that other member states would have a problem with it, Germany in particular. Thirdly, and most importantly, what was proposed to us did not contain any plan for instilling hope in investors, both Greek and non-Greek, in consumers, in depositors, that this 5-month period that was proposed to us, would be a period of consolidation and a period of overcoming the crisis. Instead, it was punctuated by one review after the other every few weeks, leading to an end sometime in November, December, without anything in sight that instilled confidence in anyone that we wouldn't be in exactly the same negotiation, again with the threat of impasse, deterring through backward induction today investors from doing what Greece needs, which is to invest. We explained that we didn't have a mandate to sign a non-viable, unsustainable proposal. At the same time, fully cognizant of the difficulties and the historic moment that we find ourselves in. We determined as a government that we did not have the mandate to reject the institution's position either, without consulting the people of Greece, who will have to be the final arbiters of whether that proposal is accepted or not. I reminded my colleagues that we were elected on the basis of a 36% vote. Collectively, our government scored something just over 40%. For a momentous decision like that, we believe that 50% plus 1 is the minimum that is necessary. We explained to our partners also that this government is absolutely determined to find a solution and accommodation with our partners, that the Greek people on 5th July will be asked to agree or not to agree with the institution's proposal. That leaves open the possibility of negotiations through the night and the day and the night and the day ahead of us that would improve the institution's proposal, in which case our government's recommendation would change. Instead of recommending to the electors that they should vote against this agreement, we would then change to a yes vote recommendation. The real reason, ladies and gentlemen, why we're finding ourselves in this impasse is because our recommendation, our suggestion, from the moment we were elected, that we should try to find common ground between the existing memorandum of understanding and our government's priorities, which was very eloquently put forward by Michel Sapin, my French counterpart, from the very first Eurogroup I attended. the notion of establishing a common ground on which to build an agreement. That was confirmed not in the observance but in the breach. The 20th of February was a very good step in that direction. It didn't mention the MOU, it mentioned effectively the common ground that will be based on the proposals of the Greek government. But ever since the 20th of February, the other side, the institutions, unfortunately have been trying to drag us back into the MOU. We can have any agreement we want as long as it is the MOU, to paraphrase Henry Ford. And indeed, there was nothing, as I said before, in the package that was put to us that would remove the fear of Brexit, the deadline effect, therefore allowing the Greek economy to breathe. Let me say that the refusal of the Eurogroup today to endorse our request for an extension of this agreement for a few days, a couple of weeks, so as to allow the Greek people to deliver their verdict on the institution's proposal, especially given that there is a very high probability that Greeks will go against our recommendation and vote in favor of the institution's proposal. That refusal will certainly damage the credibility of the Eurogroup as a democratic union of partner member states, and I'm very much afraid that that damage will be permanent. Now I'm going to say more or less the same thing to the extent that I can in Greek.